Hello viewers around the world, my name is Baraka Lango, you can call me Salango. Today I want to show you and discuss a little bit and explain in detail about data visualization using Python. Particularly I'll be using Jupyter to write my code, Jupyter Notebook. So someone may choose to write maybe his or her code in PyCharm, no problem. We'll still get the same results. So I've chosen this one, Jupyter, and I'll use just the data that is stored in one of the Python libraries called the Seaborn, and one of the data set which is there is called the Iris. So from the step here we can now see that here I'll just see here I've imported, as you can see here, I've just imported Seaborn as SNS. This means this is called the alias, so that once we force something, we will find shortened so that we can shorten. In other words, we can be recalling this one as SNS. That means the Seaborn. We can see there pandas will be referred as PD, and matplotlib.pyplot will be referred as PLT. So whenever we see PLT in our code there, we'll be referring matplotlib.pyplot. Seaborn is one of the libraries in Python that is used for data visualization, and matplotlib also is one of the libraries that is used under Seaborn, on top of the Seaborn on top of for data visualization. So now once we come to our graph here, today we're going to see how to visualize distribution by categories using the box plot. When we're talking about the box plot, this is one of the statistical graphs or charts that is being used to visualize data using this one box and a line, this line called the whisker line, and there's a box. So when you're talking about the box plot, you can just call it the box and whisker plot. So we have used the one of the data set which is found in the Seaborn library called the Iris, and now here I'm recalling this one. I've just assigned it sns.load dataset. I'm loading here to load my data from the Iris data there, so I'm just using it. SNS is from the Seaborn, as we had explained before there. We have used the alias to refer the Seaborn. Now from there we have sns.boxplot into bracket. So now I'm just referring here, this is showing the distribution of the sample length for each category of speech, and it visualize the mean category of the speech. So the box plot will be used to visualize the data in terms of the median, quartiles, and outliers. When we are talking about the median, we are talking about the middle data after rearranging the data in either ascending or descending data, while quartiles is once the data has been divided into 4 equal parts, while the outliers is data that is far from the other data. So for instance, you can have a salary maybe in your particular data set that you had. We have most of people maybe had a salary of 10,000 plus, but it comes into our knowledge that you find that one of the individual, maybe the data was entered maybe unknowingly, or that's the truth, that maybe has we can say 100 shillings. So you can see that this 100 shilling is far away from other 10,000 shillings. So that will be regarded as the part of outliers. So, and the outliers in statistics can sometimes be we can clear the outliers, or we can correct the problem of outliers by using one of the statistical graph called the box plot. So now from my box plot, as it can be seen here, we'll come back to this one. We have the code here, this plt.title. PLT, this is the alias for the matplotlib.pyplot that we have aligned there to show that whenever we see this one, we'll be defining matplotlib.alias. So matplotlib.pyplot.title. This will be the title of our graph, which is the sample length distribution by the species. And plt.xlabel speech, this is the horizontal label here, the horizontal here will be referring this speech. We have different categories of speech there. We have Setosa, versicolor speech, and Virginica from the data set of iris. And plt.ylabel, this is the vertical. I've renamed it to be sample length, so it is represented in terms of centimeters. And plt.show, this will help us to display the graph. Mind you that in case if you not write this command plt.show, will not see this graph because you have never commanded or just tell the Python to print this one or to display the curve or the graph of our interest. So can we now, after writing this one, we can now run our code here by pressing this one, as can be seen, or because we are using the Jupyter, we can run our code this cell, or we can shift enter if you just run to only this cell, not the whole data set, all the code. So if it's just this code we want to run, so you just press shift enter. So from the graph now, we'll concentrate now on how to interpret this graph. How will we know that this one will be referring to this one or whatever the case? As you can see here in our boxy plot, there is a box and there's a line. This one we call it a whisker line. So this line can be seen here. There's a line at the middle. This shows the median of the data, while this the left whisker, this will be showing the skew line, and this one also the skew. So this is left skewed, this is right skewed. But if the most of the data, you can now see that they are just distributed along the center, so there's no scattering of the data. But here also you can now see that from how we can interpret from the box plot, we can interpret the data that the median is approximately 5 point something or nearly 6, as we can see this line corresponding to the median of the data. And from the Virginica, we can see that the median is approximately 6.5. This line will be showing the median, and we can now see that from these boxes, around the box after the median, there's the data of the lower quartile and there's the data of the upper quartile. That is quartile 1, quartile 3. This is also quartile 1, quartile 3, the upper one, quartile 1, quartile 3, that is the upper quartile, lower quartile. So from this one, you can now see that from Virginica, if we have taken this one as our case study, we can see that the lefty whisker line is shorter than compared to the right whisker line. This shows that from this one, the most of the data will be right skewed. This is right skewed, so it means that the most of the data tend to fall about the upper quartile, and just a few of the data found in the left side of this one. And you can now see there is something like a point here. This shows that there was an outlier in the Virginica speech. This is outlier and will be showed by dot in the box plot, and show that from the other data there was no outlier, but in the Virginica data there was an outlier, and it means that this one was quite different from the other data, or it was far away from the other data. So I think from today you can now get a picture of how to interpret the box plot, on how to write the code by using the Python, and how to import different libraries in order to be used for data visualization. And one of the libraries is Seaborn and Matplotlib and Pandas. So we have just used here Seaborn and Matplotlib for data visualization, while this Panda will be used for next session, next class. See you again. Nice time. Nice to meet you. Thank you.